Welcome to the Football Fan Show, live from the shed. Callum can't really see my face, but Callum Brown is joining me. You can see the shed, though, if you are watching on twitch.tv/the Football Fan Show. If you're listening to the podcast, I will just say I am in a shed. Or, technically, the office.
And they just have to believe you.
You know what? I did think about getting a sign saying "Pay ransom to send money to this address to let me release." It does look like I'm being held hostage somewhere, doesn't it?
It's some random safe house.
I need to get a hooded person to come behind me and go, "Yeah, we're gonna. Well, let's see where the Newcastle conversation takes us, and that just might happen." There we go. Controversy number one. Controversy number one already. Welcome to the program today. How are you doing? Back after the international football break, and gotta be honest, I mean, other than the Andorran stadium catching fire, nothing else interested me. I gotta be honest. Nothing interested me in that international break. It was all crap.
Was it a bit funny seeing the stadium on fire, was it?
Burn, baby, burn. Stadium Inferno. That's what I was singing to myself. It's the only hot streak Andorran football has ever had.
Bit grimly.
I am just being an enormous twat. I am the enormous twat, Danny Harrington. He's the kind and caring Callum Brown. I think that's apt. I think I've set you up nicely there for a good show. We will talk about Watford and their managerial change. We'll talk about, there's been a lot happening over the last 2 weeks. Watford have a new manager. Their new manager lost 5-0 today. And I don't know if you've heard about this. Some club called Newcastle United. They've been bought out by
country.
Some country somewhere. Some country I've never heard of. Apparently
some big oil-rich country, yeah.
Yeah, apparently they've got oil and a sketchy human rights record, but who doesn't? A sketchy human rights record or an average Tuesday for Saudi Arabia. Don't sue me. There we go. So, yes, a lot to talk about. And we'll chat. Yeah, we'll get into it. Let's talk about today's Premier League games, and actually, you know what? You can't see this, but there is a box of Coca-Cola right next to me. There is a box of cans of Coca-Cola, so I've now got a can of Coke. So that's good. Let's start with the game of the day. I mean, there's no debate for this. There is no debate on this one for me. This was the game of the day. I didn't even need a vote on it, and that was Liverpool 5. Watford 0, Liverpool 5. Claudio Ranieri's first game in charge. We'll talk about the managerial sacking first and foremost, because the weird bit is we all predicted who would go first, and I think every single one of us forgot Watford were in the Premier League.
Yeah,
and Watford have been Watford.
I'm normally, because I'm normally on Twitter that much, I'm normally clued in on all the managerial comings and goings, and I gotta admit, I don't remember seeing anything about Watford sacking their manager. What was his name again?
Muñoz or something like that.
Never heard him. But apparently, 7 points from 7, the run that they were on wasn't good enough for Watford.
Yeah.
But even though they were doing pretty, all right, not great, but all right, that's not good enough for Watford.
I mean, I was talking about it earlier. Xisco Muñoz, that's who was the manager. Yeah. He was there for a year. Got them joined in December 2020. Didn't even last a year, actually. Joined in December 2020. Didn't even last a year.
Your first season back up, and this guy's give him a chance in the Premier League, and they just haven't.
October, from December 2020 to October 2021, they didn't even give him a chance, and they got rid of him.
It's just bad. Why would you? And okay, yeah, if Ranieri's available, it's he's got, he won the Premier League with Leicester, but that's one in 100 billion chance. He's not going to replicate a rags to riches season, is he?
And that's the thing. I think if they're banking on that, I think they're barking up the wrong tree there. I got to be honest with you.
because that year with Ranieri, the circumstances fell into the right
Oh,
place
absolutely,
because
absolutely, and
that's I mean they had
they had the
was
right
it,
people, the right
yeah, he had
players, the
Kasper
right
Schmeichel,
time.
Wes
Jamie
Morgan,
Vardy, Wes
Jamie
Morgan,
Vardy,
Kante,
Kante,
um,
Mahrez.
Mahrez.
You know, they were the spine of the team, and they all were just amazing, and that's what won them it, right? He's not going to come in and transform Craig Cathcart into a good defender. No
A
offense to him.
world-beating defender, yeah.
I was going to
Somebody
say
that
like
Arsenal will spend 50 million quid on next summer.
something like that, yeah.
What's that, Ben White?
But no, I mean, to be honest, I'm not saying it's a bad appointment. He's a good manager. He's a likable guy. Um, but I just don't
Dilly ding, dilly
understand the
dong.
appointments.
Um,
A little
I
bit of
give
that, a little
him.
bit, yeah.
I think I give him till December, and then
This
Watford.
December,
Yeah, I give him till December.
surely they can't. Surely, like they
This is
can't get rid of him
Watford.
that quickly.
When you play
Yeah,
the
but
game of Watford.
is it either win or you die?
What does Cersei saying when you play the Game of Thrones? You either win or you
Thrones, you either
die.
win or you die. Yeah,
Yeah, what
I
that's
mean that will literally be Newcastle in a couple of years, won't it?
you could literally the Squid Games on Netflix. You could literally take the premise of that and just have all ex-Watford managers.
I've never watched it. I haven't watched it, so I don't know what it's about.
It's playing games to kind of save your life. And
Oh,
it's a game show and there's a prize at the end of it, but everybody
literally,
you've got to be the
literally in
last
December,
person to survive.
you'll get to a point in December where Elton John comes down to Ranieri and says, "Win this, or I'm shooting you myself, or like
I
I'm
mean,
hacking your head off myself."
Elton John doesn't have anything to do with that club, but it is the Pozzo
Doesn't?
family who are Udinese owners. But
Yeah.
maybe he'll send Dua Lipa. Maybe she'll be the manager. I would
Why
not
do a
complain.
leap?
Because he's currently got a #1 hit song with her. Because I'm a radio DJ and I'm a nerd and I know that shit.
Yeah, we wouldn't mind we all wouldn't mind Dua Lipa coming in and doing something like that. But she's actually a self-professed Liverpool fan, so more fun for me.
Oh no! Oh well, there's nothing wrong with being a Liverpool fan. One word on that: did he deserve to go? No, is my
No.
answer. No, absolutely ridiculous. What else have we missed over the last 2 weeks? Did you enjoy the international football? Did you enjoy England? England, I didn't even watch any of it. I don't know how they did. That's how much I
didn't
cared.
see it. I can't remember the first one. I think he beat Andorra, I think, but
They
he
beat
drew
Andorra.
like 5-0, and then he drew 1-1 with Hungary. So that proves how incompetent Gareth Southgate is again. So other than that, no, pretty terrible. Other than that, yeah, once again, not really interested in it.
Yeah, it's just beyond the World Cup and the European Championships.
Euros.
I'm just not interested. Not interested.
Yeah. Maybe that's why Arsene Wenger wants the World Cup every 2 years. Get more people interested in European football.
Yeah, no, not going to happen. Right, let's talk. Let's save the Newcastle stuff for last because there's plenty of stuff to dissect and chew into for Newcastle. There's a lot of meat on the bones there, which is a meat of a journalist that has been killed by the Saudi government, allegedly. Right, Manchester United then. They need to get rid of Ole, and here's why they need to get rid of Ole. Not because of their performances on the pitch, but because this week he decided to come out and say that the leader of Her Majesty's opposition in government, Marcus Rashford, should focus more on football than anything else. He should focus more on his football than, actually holding the government to account. Now, I love Marcus Rashford. He is a thoroughly decent human being, and I think he should do the undecent thing and tell Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to fuck off.
See, that, if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer actually has come out and said that, then he is sounding like some of the bitter people I've heard in the media come out and go, "Oh, Marcus Rashford should just concentrate on
just concentrate on his football."
Yeah, don't get involved in stuff he doesn't know anything about and stuff like that. Like literally, what he's done is help feed kids because he went through it that himself when he was younger. That's this year. He's not
Yeah,
trying to become PM. Um, Although I would
I'd
prefer
vote for
anyone
him.
else to bloody
I'd I'd,
Boris.
I'd vote for him.
Yeah,
Anyone,
vote for him. Yeah.
well, I'd say anyone other than that tit, but not Keir Starmer. Let's bring balance. I think both of them are an absolute cancer.
Yeah.
They're
But
as
no. So
welcome as terminal cancer.
really, I think what should be clear in this is that as long as it doesn't bring sort of a bad reputation, like a shine a bad light on Man United, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer shouldn't care one iota what Mark Rashford's doing outside of playing football. As long as he's still doing his part for the club in terms of when he's playing and he's representing them, then when he's represent himself
Yeah,
on
exactly.
the political,
On the
political stage,
political front, yeah.
yeah, he can do what he bloody well likes. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer should keep his big fat dollar nose out of it.
My precious. He's like my
No,
precious Rashford.
who's who's he
The
to
boys.
tell Rashford what to do? You're his football manager, not his bloody caretaker.
He wants to be though. He wants to
Like
adopt him.
football players have a private life and a public life. Publicly, in his public life, when he's outside of football, Marcus Rashford is a by God decent person, right? Football wise, I can't stand him because he plays for United. He's constantly. But outside of that, I would love to shake his hand, and say well done.
Well done, lad. Well
So
done. Keep it up.
so no one has the right to tell him what to do or what his priority should be. He's a grown man.
Yeah, absolutely. What I will say now on a more serious note is that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is a fucking shit manager and he needs to go. And
Is that the
today,
stage from was it?
here's the thing, right? I get accused of I'm basically Adrian Durham from Talk Sport Drive, and apparently I hate Arsenal. I don't hate Arsenal. I don't even dislike Arsenal. I don't dislike Mikel Arteta. In fact, I never want to talk about Arsenal or Mikel Arteta again. So instead,
What?
I've decided to pick a new enemy. Ole Gunnar
A new,
Solskjaer.
a new enemy.
You are
You're not
now
going
my
to war with
mortal enemy.
Solskjaer.
You've never heard of me, but I'm going to war with you. And I don't even support Manchester United. But all I can say is it is beyond a joke now to a point where I'm like, it was funny at first. Now it's just a little bit tragic.
It's a bit sad, is it?
It's like I'm close to just getting the song Clanad, the band Clanad, to record a song for a charity advert to raise money for Manchester United players who will be
they need any help with
depressed
that.
over Christmas with their shit performances.
I just think it's all a bit funny, to be honest, because outside of just the sort of rivalry because I'm a Liverpool fan, I think in terms of football things, it's funny because after any like bad results, all the football I've seen, but football players all come out on social media and put all like these apologies out.
I know,
But
right?
it's a meme at this point, and you see them all, and it's like they all come out apologize like they've killed someone.
Exactly. Jacob, your boy, I think he sums it up well in the chat. He says Ronaldo hasn't gone a season without winning a trophy for 10 years. Did Juventus win something last season? I don't know. I don't think they did.
No, I don't think they did. They didn't win. They
That
didn't win
was his.
Serie A. They win Champions League. I
Did
don't
they
know if
win
they
the
won
Coppa?
the.
Did they win the
I
Coppa
don't know if they won
Italia?
the
I don't
Coppa
think they
Italia.
did. No, I don't think they did. I don't think
I
they
don't
won
think
it.
they did
Oh no,
either.
I think they won the Super Coppa Italia. So that counts.
Oh, there you go. So they might have won
Technically,
that. Yeah.
so they technically won something. So I think Jacob, your boy, you're right. And so he says Ronaldo hasn't gone without a season without winning a trophy in 10 years. Here comes Ole. He's like, hold my beer.
Oh, hold my beer here.
Hold my beer.
Here we go.
You want to lose? Here you go. You've joined a losing club here.
I'm the what's Mourinho's thing? Is it a specialist in failure?
Specialist in failure.
That's what Ole is now.
I mean, they're
now.
all specialists in failure. Let's talk about potential replacements then, and I'm not going to go on the ridiculous this time, even
Please
though
don't.
I do love the ridiculous. Gareth Southgate.
No. Oh God.
I mean, he'd make them worse. Steve Bruce. No. Antonio Conte. Probably one of the. He'll be up there. He'll be linked with it. I was saying this earlier. I don't think he'd suit Manchester United's style of play. And I think he would annoy players like Pogba, and then they would want to leave pretty soon pretty quickly. Because
then again, sorry to interrupt.
yeah, go for it.
He wouldn't put up with Pogba's attitude if he did try
He
and start
wouldn't.
anything.
I think
Because Conte was sitting there going, "You're starting with me. You're fired. Get out."
Yeah. Conte would just he's a psychopath, so he'd kill him.
He wouldn't. He's a psychopath. No, he wouldn't put up with it. Anyone try to start any drama, he'd be like, "No, I'm not."
It'd be like The Godfather. You come to me with your shit performances. You will wake up with a horse's head in your bed. You bitch. He just calls him a bitch. That's how I imagine that conversation goes. Godfather, by the way, terrible film. Don't watch it. Godfather 2, fantastic film. I really don't see why anyone raves about Godfather.
Are we now doing film reviews on this now?
Yes, we're now doing. Welcome to the Film Fan Show. No. So Antonio Conte is 2-1 to be the favourite. 5-1, it's still Poch. I don't see why he would leave PSG for Manchester United.
I was thinking that pretty much right. Was it last year or year 4 when people was seriously considering new managers, and I just then I was thinking it's all it's always going to be the same group, so it's always going to be Conte, Poch, Zidane, the old favourite Eric Ten Hag will be there.
He is linked to everything.
Ancelotti. Yeah, every job.
Yeah, I'm starting to think he's overhyped.
Sam Allardyce will be linked. Roberto Martinez will be linked.
Here are the odds for some of them. Obviously, we've talked about Conte and Poch. Conte's 2-1. Poch is 5-1. This was from September, so last month. But Brendan Rodgers was 8-1. You know what? Brendan Rodgers, if he gets offered the Manchester United job, in fact, I'll talk about him a little bit later with another job. He should take it. He should get out of Leicester because they're on the way down. Julian Lopetegui, 10-1. I don't think Lopetegui is a bad appointment. I don't think he's a very good appointment. He won't win the Premier League with them, but it'll maybe get him into the top 4.
He win the Europa League with them.
Yeah. Laurent Blanc, I don't see him being successful there. I think that's 12-1. More because he's a player, an ex-player, as you told me. I think
he did play for him for a little bit. I know he did.
Yeah, Zinedine Zidane, shit manager, 12-1. Eric Ten Hag, our favourite manager, 14-1. I literally have no idea how he plays, how he gets his team to play. I have no idea who he is.
He's not our favourite manager. He's not our favourite manager. He's everyone else's favourite. Our favourite.
He's the bookmaker's favourite.
He's a good old Mick is our favourite. He should get him in.
Mick McCarthy. Who else? Julian Nagelsmann. I don't see him going to Manchester United. 16-1. Gareth Southgate 20-1. Yes, go on Manchester United if you really want to become a banter club. Massimiliano Allegri, 25-1. Ralph Rangnick. I can't remember. Yeah, 25-1. Carlo Ancelotti, 33-1. No, not going to happen. He's at Real Madrid. Although, for how long? I don't know.
They should have, you know what? They should have tried to get Ancelotti. He would have been good for him, I think.
See, I kind of... My thing about Ancelotti is that I feel that he's gone kind of down the footballing pecking order in terms of, like, where he's going in terms of... Because he was Everton manager, he was Napoli manager. Okay, he's currently Real Madrid manager. That disproves my theory, but... He was kind of on the downward trend, and I felt he was becoming a slightly underrated manager for what he's achieved in the game. He's becoming because it's not like he's got a cancerous reputation like Jose Mourinho.
Exactly. He's genuinely he's not the happiest guy in the world, but he's genuinely a nice guy. He's one of the few managers to win 3 Champions Leagues.
Yeah, exactly.
He's a different club.
That's a mammoth achievement. So
exactly, he's got reputation and proven record of winning.
That's a mammoth reputation, yeah. So...
And I don't know how many favours Everton had to call in to get him. You'll make me really want one of them now.
What, a Coke? Do you want me to send you one by Deliveroo?
Yeah, please do.
London
Yeah.
to Liverpool. But
No, just call the local Liverpool office.
I can't do that.
I know. but anyway,
Anyway,
with all this talk of managers, right? It's all fun and games, right? But it's not going to happen because Ollie's are legends of the club, and the
hang
Glazers haven't
on.
got the balls to
You
replace
say he's
him.
a legend. He scored a goal in the Champions League final.
He, Look, that's what he's most well known for, but he's done a bit more than that. Bloody hell! Even I can give him that.
Maybe I'm just too much of a cynic.
Well,
Right.
he's your enemy now.
We have declared war on
You
Ole.
declared war on him. You can't like him now. You have to hate him.
I do, because
So
he's criticised Marcus Rashford, who is an upstanding citizen and the leader of Her Majesty's opposition.
Why do you say it in a posh voice? Don't do that.
The leader of Her Majesty's opposition, Sir Marcus Rashford. Give him a knighthood. I could see. I genuinely.
Hasn't he got an MBE?
Yeah, he has, but I genuinely see him becoming a knight, Sir of the Realm, a knight of the realm. Sir Marcus Rashford. That has a ring to it. Just don't win any trophies, Marcus, unless you go to another club, of course. Anyway, let's. So the next hour and a bit is going to be dedicated to one club, but multiple different things. Talking about that one club. Have you ever heard of this club, Callum? They're called Newcastle United, and for some reason, for 14 years, they've been an absolute irrelevance. But now, suddenly, they're the richest freaking team in the world.
That's ever existed.
Richer than Real Madrid. Richer than Liverpool, Manchester United. Well, it's not that difficult to be richer than Barcelona.
Every club well put together, I think.
Maybe apart from, unless you merge PSG and Man City, maybe then they might have an opportunity. And not even those two.
No. Even you put them together. Like, look. Let's look at numbers, right? Man City's owners, Seek Mansour and that, they have about 20. I think it's 23, 25 billion.
billion, yeah, something like that.
Yeah. And I think PSG's is like 60, 70 billion, I think. So let's put this in perspective. The
PIF,
whatever his name is,
Fund.
Yeah, and the actual guy's name at the head of that,
Mohammed bin Salman.
Yeah, they have 320 billion.
See, they could afford to buy just the club that they wanted.
They could buy like let's make it smart.
Why did they pick Newcastle?
I have no idea.
Why didn't they just buy Manchester United?
Like, you look at this and you go, well, I mean, you only have to pay 300 million. It's nothing to them.
Yeah.
But
even a couple billion for Manchester United is nothing to them.
I saw a Chelsea fan made this comparison. Roman Abramovich, if you put it into millions, so to say, then Roman Abramovich is worth like say 14 something. I think he said 14 million. Put into millions. These new guys are worth 400 million. That's how much richer they are than everyone else. You put all the clubs in the Premier League together, and PSG, and probably even Real Madrid, and Barcelona, and they're still richer than them. Like it's literally a country fueled by oil and or whatever else got skeletons in the closet for. No wonder the world is squeaky clean.
Yeah.
But they invest in a lot of things.
They do. Formula
they
1,
own
for instance.
A lot of things.
Yeah.
Like
they do.
They're on level of like international, like buying countries, basically, or at least countries' size worth of land for their own thing. So coming in and picking up, little tiny 300 million, little tiny little Newcastle United. That's how big Newcastle United are compared to what they buy and what they own.
Yep,
tiny little pinch of salt, grain of sand.
Yeah. Literally, and they live in a desert.
Literally, exactly. That's why I said. That's why I said. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Hello. Oh, sorry. This is really unprofessional. Yeah. We're talking about it now. Yep. No, we won't say anything negative. No, I promise. No, we won't say anything negative. No. You don't need to say. You don't need to send those people. No, you don't need to. No, you don't need to do that.
You can put the machetes down.
No, you don't need to jump on a plane to New York. No.
I've even got a padlock on that shed door.
Yeah. Okay, you're my favourite prince. Mohammed bin Salman, my favourite prince.
I love how he's got you on speed dial. He must have.
He is my favourite prince.
He must have. He could be. He's that rich. He's got every single person on the world on speed dial.
Yeah, even me. So we can't say anything negative, otherwise I die. Allegedly.
It's already too late for that. We've already said. We've
already said that. I mean, so let's start with the. Okay, so there are a couple of things I want to cover on this one. We're going to start with one we're going to have a couple of fun ones in which we're going to have a fantasy January transfer window for Newcastle United.
Okay.
We're going to try and predict if we were the directors of football, who we would get. Mine is much more realistic than going, well, get me Messi. Get me Messi. I really want a really messy kebab.
Yeah.
Says Steve Bruce.
People people think it's going to be something similar to that. It's not. It's not going to be anywhere near that.
Yeah. I know exactly who they'll go for. So I reckon I've got it down to a T.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about the managerial situation because Steve Bruce has been given a say of execution. Quite literally, they're gonna come onto the pitch tomorrow and execute him live. Yes.
As soon as the match finishes, they're going to sack him there on the pitch.
There will be a public stoning, and not of the marijuana kind, which is a shame because I love marijuana. Anyway, not that kind of stoning. God, they've already poisoned me. Here's another truck. That's Russia.
Yeah.
But let's start with this one. Now that Newcastle have been bought out, what clubs are left? Because the thing is, they always buy the big city teams. So who's left? Because Everton have billionaire owners, Liverpool have billionaire owners, Manchester United have billionaire owners that are shit. City obviously have billionaire owners. Everton, Villa have a billionaire over. Arsenal have a crap billionaire owner. Tottenham have a crap billionaire. Well, actually, a reasonably better billionaire owner. Chelsea have a billionaire owner. So who's next? I would say the next club is probably Leeds.
If you're going down the list of the Premier League, then yeah, Leeds.
Or one of the Sheffield clubs, because they're both big city teams. Sheffield Wednesday or Sheffield United. Probably Sheffield Wednesday's more. Sheffield Wednesday. I'm not saying in order of success. I'm saying just big city teams because it's always big city teams.
Birmingham.
So. Oh yeah, Birmingham City. Yeah, I could see that. I could see somebody doing that. Sheffield Wednesday is probably more attractive than Sheffield United just because they've got a bigger stadium and they sell it out more, but they're both big, decent teams. Yeah. So the Sheffield clubs, and plus that's where football started, or association football as we know. Portsmouth, to me, they've already got a billionaire owner. Michael Eisner. Michael Eisner, the ex-Disney executive, owns Portsmouth, so they've already got a billionaire.
Cool. That's so funny, that. That's so funny, that.
Oh! I'm Mickey Mouse and I own Portsmouth. Ho ho!
That's not creepy at all. Thank God we don't have kids listening to this podcast. You scar them for life. You strange person.
Hey kids! Ho!
Yeah, kids, hide them away from this person. Don't let them look upon his face.
So I can only really think of the London clubs. I mean, West Ham, Leeds, the Sheffield clubs. Maybe Bristol City, even though they've never been historically successful.
We're literally talking about any kind of club, aren't we? We're not talking about just Premier League, are we?
No, I think that they would just big city teams with good local support.
Ipswich, Norwich. Millwall.
No, I think they're too small, those clubs.
Nottingham Forest.
I think that's too small a club.
See, I don't understand where we're going with this then, because you're talking about small clubs.
It's always big city teams.
Or like
Nottingham is not a
big
big
clubs,
city.
like clubs with a lot of history that are small now. I don't understand. Like,
I think it's big city teams. So it's places
well,
with maximum population size.
I'm
So
just going
like
through
it's
all
never
my.
going to happen with like say Reading, for instance.
I'm just going through all the big cities in my head. Cardiff, Swansea.
Cardiff, I would not count Swansea. Cardiff, Bristol, Sheffield, Leeds. I think that's about it. Sunderland have a billionaire owner. That's out. Portsmouth have a billionaire owner. That's out. Plymouth,
Southampton.
Southampton, Brighton.
Also Brighton, yeah.
Yeah, Brighton's got a very wealthy owner. West Ham comes to mind as a London club.
They got wealthy owners.
They haven't.
Everyone's got a certain level of wealth.
I mean, Gold and Sullivan are nowhere near the level of. I could see them getting bought out. West Ham, they would be somebody's project.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's a shame that nobody goes, we'll buy Celtic or Rangers.
Crystal
because
Palace.
they really could. Crystal Palace I could see happening because they're quite a trendy club.
Yeah.
They're quite a trendy club. I mean, Fulham already have a billionaire owner in Saeed Khan. Shame is...
Very smart, though.
Well, that's his son Tony deciding to spend all of Fulham's budget on Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, any wrestler that he can get his hands on for All Elite Wrestling. Wednesday nights, TNT, except it's on tonight, Saturday Night Dynamite. I am an AEW mark, so I do watch pro wrestling, and I love Tony. I love you AEW, but build a fucking better football team. Although you have just beaten QPR by 4 goals to 1. QPR are another one, yeah. QPR are another one. I don't see where it ends. You know who desperately needs new owners? It's Hull City. Because their owners are just shit. Oh,
Sunderland?
Sunderland got bought out last year. They're owned by the guy, the son of the guy that used to own Marseille, who's a billionaire. He's a multi-billionaire. They're like the richest club in League One. Swindon, I would love it, but I don't know. Here's a question I pondered earlier. And I kind of briefly mentioned it already. Why didn't they just go for Manchester United or Liverpool? Now, I think the reason that they wouldn't, and you can speak as a Liverpool fan on this, but I think that Manchester United and Liverpool fans would be pretty much the same on this. They would protest the shit out of that and try and get it to stop happening. Because remember, Rupert Murdoch wanted to buy Manchester United back in the 90s, and the Manchester United fans went, we do not want you. I think Liverpool fans and Manchester United fans have very similar mentalities in terms of, because they're both working class clubs, working class cities, and they have an idea. The Man City fans are different because they're a smaller club. Everton fans would be. I can't speak for Everton.
They've got Mashiri, haven't they? So they're pretty happy with them.
Yeah, but City's a different situation. They're a smaller club. They've always been irrelevant.
I think with this, what's made this kind of go through and the reaction and the situation as it is because I think Newcastle fans were just that desperate just to get rid of Mike Ashley. They will took anyone with grateful heart. You know, they could have been public Nazis, and they would have took them, the owners.
Even if it had been somebody like I think Colonel Gaddafi wanted to buy Manchester United once. If it had been him,
it would have took someone like that because it was if he'd shown that we want to invest in the club. But the thing is that Mike Ashley was that bad, and it was that much of an oppressive reign. We just didn't want to spend anything at all, and it was year upon year, multiple relegations for a size of the club that they are, level of support that they get. The average finishers over the past 15 years have been nothing short of disgraceful.
I mean, yeah, considering in the 90s when Keegan was the manager, they were finishing second and having title races with Manchester United.
Regularly getting European football, title races with Keegan, and then Sir Bobby Robson. But since then, the managerial appointments, apart from Rafa Benitez, because he got lucky with that, have all been awful.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And they've been fighting relegation every season. They've had 3 relegations in the past, and not even 15 years, like 10, 11 years. Because they had one under when Alan Shearer was manager. They had one a couple of years back under um, Steve McLaren, was it?
Yeah, that was a
No,
disaster.
no, I think Rafa came in at the end of the season, and then he brought him straight back up again
Yeah,
the season
they won the
after.
championship. Yeah,
Um, and then so all right, so they've had two, I think, but they've been flirting with it ever since. Finishing 17, 16, just about. Um, for a size club that they are, and the level of support that they continuously get in that stadium, it's a disgrace. And Mike Ashley was never interested at all. So it got to a point where they were at a point where they're that desperate that as soon as anyone, any kind of big money person showed any kind of interest and was saying the right things to them, no matter how questionable or hazy their backgrounds are,
hmm.
they were going, "Yeah, we'll take you. You want to come in? You want to spend money in our club, in our local area, in our city, and invest? Come right in.
Make sure
We,
you buy
oh,
the
oh,
kebab shop.
yeah, come in and buy all them. You can come in and do all that. Just invest in the club. Or you got these stories about journalists potentially being killed for writing about you. Oh well, it's never proven. Kind of we can turn a blind eye to it because
Yeah,
we're that desperate. We want you to come in and invest in our club.
yeah,
Whereas you look at Liverpool and Man United, especially Liverpool now, the success we've had in recent years, we're at a level where we can afford to say, well, you know what? I mean, first thing is the owners won't sell for
yeah,
anything less than ridiculous amounts because we've already, the past couple of years, we've had, I think it was a Chinese conglomerate or something saying they want to come in and buy, and they actually made an offer, I think, and FSG went no,
no,
just no, right away, no. It would cost something like the club's worth like 4 billion or like 3.8 billion. It would take at least a billion over that to even make them consider it. So, and even if they managed to get the FSG to agree,
yeah.
you'd have to be squeaky clean, which no one is, because
Oh
we're
yeah,
not at
yeah,
the
yeah,
point because we've had investment in the club itself, the stadium, the training facility, the
yeah.
players themselves that we brought in, and we've had success with the manager. So we're not at a point oh, we'll just take anyone because we'll go, well, you know what, we don't need, so we can be more scrutinizing of any potential investments. Whereas,
But
as I said,
I
Newcastle,
I think that even if you go back to the dark times of Hicks and Gillette, I still think Liverpool fans would have been like, no, we don't want Saudi blood money.
um, I mean, we're going into hypotheticals. I can't remember how much. I think FSG bought us for. I think it's around about the same price that Newcastle bought for. Um, I can't remember at the time if any Middle East investors were interested in us. I'm guessing they probably were. Um, see, I wasn't. I mean, I was a Liverpool fan at the time, but I wasn't like full on watching it because I was still, well, just about come out. Well,
Yeah,
no, yeah, still in school at the time. So I wasn't watching it regularly.
yeah,
Um, so I didn't. I'm not obviously fully clued in on the situation, but I think obviously I can't speak for everyone, but I assume that there probably would have been. I mean, I think we were saying, look, anyone is better than Hicks and Gillette because Hicks and Gillette got us into so much debt that we were facing the point of liquidation or was it a realistic thing that could have happened to us because we were that much in debt. Um, so I think at some point some of us were thinking, look, we'll just take anyone. I think now we can definitely say we're definitely glad that it was FSG rather than some
yeah,
Middle Eastern Saudi one because FSG probably aren't squeaky clean themselves. They've probably got
yeah.
skeletons in their closet.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah.
Um, but the Americans are seen as a bit
I mean,
better than Middle Eastern
I
ones. The
think I think if you look at Premier League owners, I think the Premier League is the home of money laundering.
oh
That's
yeah,
all. That's the
absolutely,
only
and tax
reason there's so
avoidance.
many. Yeah, it's money laundering. So that's the only reason you got so many billionaire owners. You can't tell me that a country buys a club not to money launder or a billionaire from a dodgy country comes in and
You,
buys
you
a
buy
club,
it,
and
it's all business. You buy a business to make money. You invest to make money. You spend money to make money.
I think there are
So
certain
these this
owners that don't need to make money from football, and they're just there to spend, to just hide away their dirty profits.
well, Roman Abramovich, he doesn't need to save money. He can continuously spend, because that's Chelsea is his little baby. You know, he can do what he wants with it. That's his little thing. Whereas the Glazers, for example, you know, they they bought the club on debt
And
and
they
they
still take
took
money
money
out of
out,
it.
and they take money out and take money out and take money out. That's why the Man United own it. Now they're very similar in terms of like Americans who own an American sports team, but they bought the club on debt and they've racked up debt, and it's it works for them. Whereas our owners, obviously own the Red Sox, Boston Red Sox, but they bought the club with their own money,
Yeah,
so there's no debt there. But people say, oh, even it's still in terms of they're very tricky in how they spend money, because when they say though they're investing so much into the training facility, actually in Kirby where I live, down the
yeah.
road is the
Mm.
academy where they train
Mm.
first team as well. And they've extended the main stand now, doing the Annie Road, the
Yeah,
Anfield
yeah,
Road, and
yeah,
to increase the capacity. And people saying, "Oh, isn't that all great?" And that, when you realise it is actually the loan. But thing is that they're giving FSG are giving a loan to us, but then they're still getting the money back, because the club still have to pay them back out of our own finances.
But
So
Liverpool are well run and profitable.
that's what I mean. Like I'm glad that it,
Probably one of the best
it's
run
it's
clubs
it's
in the country, along
it's
up there
it's
with
very
Burnley
strange,
and
because like
Brighton and
I'm
Brentford.
because during the transfer window, when we don't see anything happening, we're going, come on, FSG, spend a bit of money, But then you look on the other side, and you look at how well we are run, you think, you know what? I'm pretty happy that we can be in this position where we're not in any financial risk at all, and the value of the club has gone up so
Mm.
much over 10 years. Um, so you can look at that and be happy that it's going to be a lasting, you know, venture. But I get the whole, we're going to economics here and business models, and we're going the whole thing of being self-sufficient and that make your money yourself and you can use that and whatever. I get that. I mean, we've gone well off on a tangent here, um, but I can definitely say that if you want to talk about just scrutinizing potential new owners' backgrounds,
I mean, it was
I
it
think
was it was rejected before, and the
the
Saudis
Premier
had to
League
make the
and
Premier
the
League
top
rejected
six.
it before, and they had to make some changes. So a part of the deal that they came to was they've agreed a deal with Qatar's beIN Sport, who are the Premier League
Yeah,
rights holder for the Middle East,
yeah,
and they've now got rid of this Be Out Q, which is this Saudi pirate station that was allegedly
yeah,
government or very high up backed to
yeah,
pirate beIN Sport. That is now gone,
yeah.
apparently,
So now
according to this
yeah,
agreement. And there is also an agreement that the Saudi state has zero day-to-day involvement in the running of Newcastle United, which sounds like it's complete
but
tosh.
they can still put people that they choose in charge of the running of it,
Exactly. So you've got
and they would
Amanda, what's her name? Amanda Savory? Savory,
stay.
whatever it is. She's going to be
Yeah,
running. Her and her husband look like they're going
she's
to be
like the
running
CEO, isn't she?
the day-to-day running of the club.
Yeah, she's gonna be like the
Um,
director, the
yeah,
CEO,
she'll be running the day-to-day, I reckon,
and they'll have
at the
like a
club.
managing director,
They'll have
head of
they're
performance.
looking for a director of football. They're trying to
Yeah,
go
and
for the ex-Lille director of football, apparently.
but the thing
Um,
is that they'll say, oh, we won't have any sort of day-to-day running we'll be hands off, but they will have daily or weekly or monthly meetings and updates from Amanda Staveley and the rest of the people that they put in charge there to know how it's getting on, because
yeah.
that only makes sense.
What would be interesting to see, and I think that this will be a great indication of their day-to-day involvement, if you see Saudia, the airline, sponsor them, or Aramco end up sponsoring them, then you know that they're more than involved, because those are two
Yeah,
of the biggest companies in. Aramco is
yeah.
the state oil company in Saudi, and Saudia is obviously the state-run airline, both
Yeah.
of which have
Well,
heavily
I was
been
just
involved in
thinking,
Formula One.
Yeah, what I was just thinking is, would it have worked like if this uh, public investment fund are coming for any other club in the Premier League? Would they have got them?
I think they would have looked at it. I think they had a set list of clubs. Newcastle. I reckon their
In
set
top of
list
that?
of clubs would have been somewhere like Newcastle, Leeds, those big city teams. Because I don't think they'd have bought Burnley or anybody like that. They'd have been like,
Yeah,
whether you know,
very
we need a strong
very
supporter
specific
base.
requirements.
You
Yeah,
know,
so some like, more like a sleeping giant, so to say, a club
exactly.
that's been down, clubs that have got big support, lots of history, big support, big sports fan bases,
Yeah,
lots of potential.
yeah.
So yeah, Newcastle, Leeds,
Sheffield, one of the Sheffield clubs, I reckon, because
I
of
think
their
they would have been
history
looking at Premier League
with the game.
only.
Um, I'm not so sure. I
I
reckon
think, well, at
they
least
would have
they would
dropped
have been
down.
top of the list. I think
Yeah. Oh yeah. But
if
they
they
did
couldn't get
buy.
Newcastle, Leeds would have
Yeah,
gone for a championship
yeah. They would have gone for a championship club, and they would have gone for one of the bigger clubs, or maybe they would have gone for West Ham. You never know. They could have gone for West
or
Ham.
West Ham, yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
But I think Newcastle are probably the most potential out of any of them, and
Absolutely. The
it is
history at
it's very
Newcastle
very unique
is a
very unique circumstances that they were the club most desperate to get their owners out,
yeah,
get their owner out.
and they have historically been, the I mean, I hate to be rude to Newcastle fans, but their fans have been writing checks that their club has failed to cash for a very long time. And Newcastle fans. I do feel sorry for them because they're a massive club. They get over 50,000 a game at St James's
Yeah,
Park, and it's
full seat.
football. If you ever want to see football as it's meant to be, just go to the northeast. It's absolutely freaking mental up
Yeah,
there. I
yeah,
think the northeast and Glasgow. Those are the two places that I would not want to go if I was an away fan. I would
yeah.
not. I would just not go there because I don't want to face
Oh yeah,
Newcastle
like
or
I've
Sunderland
I've
or
seen
Middlesbrough fans
I've
or
seen I've seen
Celtic or Rangers fans in
videos and
Glasgow.
pictures and of
I don't want to
when
face those guys.
Sunderland win the Premier League, and whenever there's a match at either Stadium Light or St James's Park, and they would have to be escorted from the train station, and there would be full on riots
Oh yeah, there would
without
be.
fail
Yeah.
every match day because there's outright hatred. Like
Oh yeah,
I don't know what it is. Like they're not even like in the same city. They're separated by a river.
but it's north versus south, isn't it?
That's what I mean. So it's obviously Newcastle, uh, Sunderland,
Yeah.
and they're
I
separated by a river,
mean,
and they just very similar accents, but one get called Georgie, one gets called Mackhams. Um, similar accents,
yeah.
and they just can't stand each other. Like there's just so much bad blood.
But you've got a just talking about that, particularly the Newcastle upon Tyneside area. You have some very big outside of Newcastle United. You've got some very big non-league clubs up there.
Yeah,
In South Shields FC are one of the
yeah,
biggest non-league clubs. They get around. It's insane. I think they're in like the Northern Premier League or something like that,
yeah.
and they get around 3,000-4,000 a game. Those are League
Chill.
Two numbers.
Yeah,
It's insane.
yeah,
Gateshead can't get anyone, but they've got the massive Gateshead International Stadium that holds about 15,000 to get like 15,000
yeah,
is a big athletic stadium. Actually, I think it's around 20,000, but obviously they probably get about 1,000 fans in, but which is not great. But they're a club that, if you've got deep pockets and you've got patience, maybe. But let's talk now about Steve Bruce. He was trying to have a conversation with the owners. They were talking about the letter P, then the number 45. I think the conversation was a little bit lost in translation because Steve Bruce is still there, and he will manage. He has been
yeah.
preparing the players for their inevitable defeat to Tottenham tomorrow.
Yeah. Surely it can't be a situation where no matter what the result is tomorrow, that he just gets sacked straight away. It just can't happen. I don't think. Um, but
Well,
it's going to be a process, this, because they can't just
yeah.
go, oh yeah,
Well,
we'll bring this manager in who's going to be instantly successful, and we're going to spend this much money and get
yeah.
this much players
Well,
in January, and that's going to be it. It's going to be a case of, I think.
hang on. Let me interrupt you here, because you're
Right,
going
well,
down an angle that I want to ask you. Pretend, right? Complete hypothetical. You're cool. Your phone rings. It's Newcastle. They want you to be the director of football. I want to know manager, players. What would your strategy be? If you go first, then I'll go after you and tell you what my
okay.
what's your strategy to turn
So,
Newcastle around?
so first things first, we need to survive this season. Can't get relegated. So you need to bring someone in who's going to guarantee you to stay up this season. Names, I mean, you take Big Sam back, or either keep Steve Bruce for the season, or bring Big Sam back, or just someone who's going to guarantee you to stay up, right?
Both of whom are hated by Newcastle fans.
I mean, yeah. Who else are you going to get that's guaranteed to keep them up?
I mean, Big Sam's not guaranteed to keep them up.
Well,
We
neither
saw
is anyone.
yesterday
Neither is anyone. Like, they could spend 300 million in January and still go down.
that is true, but so who do you bring in as manager? That's what I want to know. Who do you bring in as manager?
I don't know specific names. As I said, my strategy would, I said, forgetting names for a second, I don't have particular names. But strategy B would be bringing someone to the end of the season to make sure they survive. And then, for me, long term would be, I'd bring Gerrard.
Steven Gerrard from Rangers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, me, Callum, the fan, a Liverpool fan, is saying no, he's being nurtured for the Liverpool job after Jurgen Klopp goes. Yeah. But me, the hypothetical director of football of Newcastle goes, you want either a him or a Frank Lampard, someone who is young, full of ambition, who, can get proper football knowledge.
Yeah.
Who can, no matter what player you bring in, they're going to look up to these managers.
Yeah,
because
they've achieved so
if
much.
Gerrard Lampard went to a Newcastle job, and you could bring anyone in, and they're going to go, wow, look who's managing me.
Mm-hmm.
So you're never going to get someone who's going to be trying to think they're bigger than the manager or bigger than the club, right? So I'd bring in like a Gerrard Lampard, one of them. Players.
Yeah. Do you sign a marquee player in January, or do you hold that off?
I don't know. It depends what you mean by marquee. Like, it's someone
a
like
big name
one
that
really
the fans
expensive.
will get excited about.
See, I think
because I have a name in mind, but I'll go through mine in a minute.
Realistically, if you're going to be realistic, you're going to be looking at first name I could think of was Coutinho. Philippe Coutinho.
Yeah, you've taken mine. Yeah, that would have been mine.
Yeah. Gareth Bale would be one.
Yeah. But generally,
so someone like a Tarkowski for a defender from Burnley.
Yeah. But more generally, then, other than a marquee name, more generally, who do you go after?
That's what I'm trying to think of. I'm trying to think by position. So, goalkeeper.
I wouldn't necessarily sign players based on position. I'd sign them based on. Well, I'll let you finish. I'll do mine.
Well, you just want like a big name. Like I said, if you're going to talk big names, you're going to talk Coutinho or Bale or the let me try and think. I don't know, like players that sort of. Do you remember?
Go on.
Do you remember Mario Götze?
Yep, I remember Götze. Yeah,
he's playing for PSV at the minute. Bring someone like him in.
Oh yeah. Of course.
He's sort of got a bigger legacy. He's gone past his best, I think. But he's still got a bit of a, thing to his name. I mean, you're gonna be talking bloody. I'm just trying to think sort of realistic levels.
Hang on. Do you want to hear mine and then finish yours off?
Yeah.
Because I've really put a lot of thought into this.
Oh, here we go.
So if
Mine
I
was
am
at the top of my head.
if I am director of football of
Yeah.
Newcastle United, day one, Bruce is out. Steve Bruce is
Okay.
gone. I appoint Eddie Howe on a 4.5-year deal.
Oh, here we go. Okay.
4.5-year deal because he has the experience of keeping Bournemouth in the Premier League, and he also has the experience of having the horror of being relegated with Bournemouth in the Premier League. You give at St Maxima new contract, 5 years, make him the highest paid player, give him whatever he wants.
Yeah.
Everybody get rid of John Joe Shelby, get rid of Matt Ritchie. If you cannot sell them, terminate their contracts, get rid of them. They're rubbish.
Okay.
They don't belong there.
Remember, this is hypothetical. This
is hypothetical. And then, with all that money, because a brilliant point that was made by Simon Jordan on TalkSport is that because Newcastle have been so well run financially over the last couple of years, because that's all they've been designed to do by Mike Ashley, is that their financial fair play is on their side for the next 2 or 3 years, so they could afford to spend the world and still be in line
within the rules.
Within the rules, which is a fabulous point. So first of all, you pick up the phone, you start to call Liverpool, and you go, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, how much?
Yeah.
Sign him. His missus is from Newcastle. She can do the convincing. Because they're genuinely, because you'd be like, well, you know, your girlfriend is from Newcastle. She'll know the local area. She's a hero here. You could be a hero too. You could both be beloved by the city of Newcastle, and that's how I would pitch it to him. I think he would do it. Next up, you go to Manchester United. You go, I hear Lingard wants. I hear, you know, if you're not going to play Lingard, we'll have him.
Or better than Lingard, Donny van de Beek.
Yes, you could go for Donny van de Beek, and then once I've signed Lingard, then I go to Brentford and go, how much do you want for Ivan Toney? We'd like him back.
Oh, yeah.
Then I go to, where else do I go to? I think next up I try and get a defender. So who do I?
Yeah, you want a defender.
Who do I go to? That's the question.
Go take Dortmund and say, can we take Matt Hummels on a free?
No, I think you want to sign players with.
No, we have Chiellini for a year.
The reason I wouldn't do that is because I would want players with Premier League experience of within the last 2 or 3 years. So I'm limiting myself to Premier League players only. You know what? You know who I have an idea of who I want in playing for me in defence. Hang on, let me just remember who the. Hang on.
Premier League experience from a defender who's been there recently.
Yeah, from a player that's still either playing now or has been playing in the last couple of seasons. So for me, I would get Robin Koch because I love the name. No. Yeah, no, I'd probably get
real loads of thought, there's.
Yeah, you know what? I know who my marquee signing would be.
Who?
Call Barcelona, get Philip Coutinho for 20 million, because they're desperate to sell him. By the way, that is not to just because I think Philip Coutinho is a great player. It's to shut the fans up. Because it's like, we're serious. You know, this guy used to be great for Liverpool, and now he's playing for us. So it's that is just a signing to shut the fans up. You better get him
soon because he's getting a bit old now, and he's not really done much for the last couple of years.
Yeah. Actually, you know, I just had a thought. Who I would sign as well? I would sign. Who's the old Everton lad that plays for Chelsea that was on loan at Aston Villa last season?
Barkley.
Yeah, I'd sign Barkley.
Yeah.
The thing is, Newcastle need to build a team that is not a top 4 team, but needs to build a team that is the best of the rest.
Yeah.
So sign the hand-me-downs from Liverpool, from Manchester City, from Chelsea, from United. Sign those players that just quite aren't good enough. Because guarantee you they are good enough to keep you in the Premier League, and then long term you want to One, build a better training ground than you need to essentially build an Etihad campus in Newcastle, and they've got the money to do that. And then you have a manager like Eddie Howe who will nurture that talent for the next 4 or 5 years. And I'm basing this strategy. I'll tell you why I'm basing this strategy on. You get to 5th place, 5th or 4th in the Premier League. You get to the kind of Europa League places. You get rid of Howe, and then you bring in your world-class manager that's going to win you the Premier League title. Don't know who that is, but that's when you do it. In 4 or 5 years down the line. And the reason I say that, remember Mark Hughes at Manchester City? He had a great run at Blackburn beforehand. He was brought in to take them to 5th or 4th, to kind of build them up. And then when they realised he couldn't take them any further, they got rid of him and brought in Roberto Mancini. And what did Roberto Mancini do? He won the Premier League at Manchester City. And I am basing the entire strategy of Newcastle around that principle. You bring in a manager, a British manager with Premier League experience.
So basically what you're doing is you're copying,
get them to 5th,
you're literally copying,
sack them,
you're copying step by step Man City's model.
Yeah, exactly. Because it was successful.
When they came in, they didn't buy. What they done is they bought the best players in the Premier League. So they bought, they brought in David Silva. Yeah, they brought in like not sort of the biggest names. They brought in just players and nurtured them, so to say. So you're copying that step for step, basically.
Yeah, because I think that would be the most successful strategy for.
The risk is,
you know, who I also would sign if he were interested and available? Riyad Mahrez.
Would City sell him?
Yeah, would City sell him, or try and get Kante if Chelsea want to get rid of him? Because remember, Lampard wanted to get rid of Kante. I don't think they will now because Kante's fucking amazing. Why would you get rid of Kante? He's getting on a bit Kante. It depends how long he can. I mean, he's built like a machine, but he's past 30 now. It depends how many years he can go. So the risk is for any manager you bring in is, do we survive this season? Yeah, I think you. Well, that's my strategy. You buy, even if you buy the best players from the clubs around you, you disarm them and make your hand stronger. So for me, you know, you said it best with Burnley, the Burnley lad, Tarkowski.
Yeah.
He's somebody that they should consider signing straight away.
Yeah.
And
it just, little add on here.
Yeah, go on.
Quotation marks.
Yeah.
Any player they look to buy in January, regardless, them players still got to look at it and go, are we taking a step down going to Newcastle here?
Well, no, I don't think you are because, they're not great yet, but they're building and they can pay you a lot of money, and they're a big City team with the most insane supporters.
You've got to be convinced that some players, not all, but very few players don't go for the money.
I genuinely believe that the players I'm targeting would go for the money. I really do believe that. Because you could sell it to them, like for Lingard, I could say, Alan Shearer, he's on TV. Want to be a bigger legend than him in Newcastle? Come here, score more goals.
That's impossible. No, right.
I mean, he won't.
It's just totally unrealistic. Because Lingard could go in, and none of these players would ever get anywhere near Alan Shearer's legacy. Never.
I think Lingard, Tarkowski, I think Wilfred Zaha. They should go for Wilfred Zaha from Crystal Palace. The Ox, I've already said that one. I mean, if Lacazette is available, they want to get rid of him.
I was thinking Aubameyang.
Aubameyang, Lacazette, either.
Yeah.
They both apparently want out, or Arsenal want to get rid of them.
Well, want rid, yeah.
I don't think Aubameyang wants to leave. I think Arsenal want to get rid of him.
Because it's a massive contract.
Yeah, and, that's what they want. Which is a massive shame. My screen's just gone, which is unfortunate. That's blank again. Anyway, I'm not going to end the stream there because I still want to talk about Newcastle. So, yeah, I think you go Zaha, you go Who else do you go with? Zaha, I think.
Coutinho,
Coutinho.
Bale.
No, I don't think Bale goes to Newcastle. I don't think you could convince him to go there.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he'll retire. He's already said he wants to retire at Real Madrid. I think they'll give him 1 year extension, and that'll be it for him.
We've got lots of attackers in. We need, say Tarkowski, but then what about like other defenders, goalkeeper?
Goalkeeper. Goalkeeper. I think you can get away with keeping. Who's their current goalkeeper? I think you can get Dubravka. I think you can get away with that for a year or two until somebody becomes available. Have him like have him be kind of like your who was a guy that was at Sunderland and went to Mignolet. Have him be like Mignolet. Just stay there for a couple of seasons and then wait for somebody better to come along, like Liverpool did. Because they did. That's what Liverpool did. They waited for somebody better to come along, and they got them. So, for me, that's that's probably the best kind of plan for me, just to appease the fans by bringing in some decent players. Eddie Howe's the manager to kind of guide it all in. Have him in for 4.5 years or something. Keep him up. Have him in for 4 years. Then get rid of him, and then bring in whoever the world-class manager that you want to bring in. Bring him in then. That was my kind of idea, my kind of belief. That's kind of my philosophy on it. But has that helped you with your strategy, Callum?
Not particularly. No,
I think the best form of defense is attack. There you go. That's why I haven't
signed
any
defenders.
If
you're talking sort of long term, but not like your world class manager, Eddie Howe's probably the best you're probably going to get in that regard.
Well, the reason I wouldn't give it to Gerrard or Lampard is I'm not sure that they're the right person for that job.
Why?
Lampard, I don't have confidence that Lampard could pull it off. Same with Gerrard. Gerrard, because he's got no Premier League experience.
Yeah, but he's good. The thing is, you got to get experience to get experience.
And I think the experience that Steven Gerrard will get as a Premier League manager will be at Liverpool, because Liverpool will do a Chelsea and appoint Steven Gerrard like Chelsea appointed Frank Lampard. So I think that's what will happen, and I see Gerrard. I see his first managerial job in the Premier League.
It's written in the stars to be at Liverpool Newcastle. At some point. Whether he goes in straight away after.
Yeah, being Liverpool, not Newcastle. Yeah, so I think that'll be it. I reckon. So that'll be it. Beyond that, I don't know. I think at the moment, you bring in Eddie Howe. He's the obvious choice, and then you get rid of people that you're wasting money on, a waste of wages. Like, I mean, you could be controversial and get rid of pretty much the bulk of the players and just sign an entirely new squad in January. Be bloody expensive, but the Saudis could afford it. For me, I think the only player you'd really be looking to keep long term would be St. Maximin, and that's about it. Beyond that, I don't see any place for any of those players, and I would probably terminate the contracts of John Joe Shelby and Matt Ritchie in January. And I love Matt Ritchie. He's a Swindon Town legend.
What have you on against them?
Because they're just not at the level that Newcastle want to be at, and they never will be. I think they're championship players. I don't have anything against them. I just don't think they're very good players for the Premier League. I like Matt Ritchie. He was a Swindon Town legend, but he's a championship
Wilson's
player.
Okay.
Wilson, yeah, but I reckon you get to the end of the season, you get rid of these lads. Or you terminate their contracts and just say, you know what, guys, you've been great servants, but you're not good enough for where the club needs to be going.
You're not obviously not going to say that tonight because
Oh
doing
no,
all this
I
that we're
would
saying
be.
is going to piss people off.
I would be just up front and just bring them into the office and just say, look, you guys have been great. You are not needed anymore for where this club is going. You are not good enough to go where this club is going. You can either we're not even going to transfer list you. We're just going to terminate your contracts. And the reason that I would do that is because, one, they would be free to go and negotiate to other clubs. And imagine hearing that. That would be fucking... That'll either be a motivation for you to go and prove that twat wrong, or you just crumble. So, that's my logic.
See, we're definitely going for the sort of goodbye bad guy role, aren't we? So I'm trying to be nice.
This is football.
Be
It's a
fucking
ruthless
ruthless and
business.
kill them.
This is a ruthless business. It's got
You're never going to get a situation where a chief executive or a manager are going to bring a player in and go, we don't think you're good enough, bye-bye. You're never going to get that.
I would totally do that.
You would, but that's never going to happen, is it? No one else would.
I would get rid of them because they're a waste of wages.
Yeah, they try and sell them in a bloody nicer way, but you wouldn't bring them in and say, we don't think you're good enough.
Oh, I would just be blunt. I'm a very honest person, and I would just be very blunt with them.
No, you're just nasty. You're just you're just evil. Like I'm trying to be the nice guy here.
I'm working for the Saudis. Of course, I'm evil. In this hypothetical world. In this hypothetical world in which we've created, I am the bitch of the Saudis. I am a proud bitch.
You are the proud prostitute to the pimp that is the Saudis.
Yeah, quite frankly, I would do anything that they...
Like they've got their leash.
As long as they paid me enough, I would love to be director of football.
You let them use you however they wanted to.
I mean, within reason.
No.
Within reason.
No. Oh, you're about no.
Within reason, yeah.
You let them weigh like a glove.
Oh no. Anyway, with that one said, obviously, I think the way that Steve Bruce has been treated has been back to reality. No more fantasy transfer windows. But it's exciting for Newcastle fans. But the way Steve Bruce has been treated, despite how crap I think he is as a manager, he is good enough to keep you in the Premier League for a couple of seasons, and then eventually
that's it. He's good enough to keep you up, but that's his level. No need to.
I think
just let him go with head held high. Don't stop bashing the man and trying to insult him and his family.
I think his best run was at Birmingham City. And that was years ago. That was a decade ago. That was even more than a decade ago. So, what was that? 2004, 2005? They were in the Premier League for about 2 or 3 seasons and then went down.
Yeah.
I'll never forget Robbie Savage falling over.
Yeah.
That was fantastic. That was glorious. Because they had Phones for You as their sponsor. Phones for You. I love that Birmingham City kit, by the way. That Birmingham City kit, lovely. But yeah, I think that was probably the best run of his career. And to say that and consider where he's been since, he's got Hull promoted. He's been at Sunderland. He's been at Newcastle, and where else has he been?
Didn't he get Hull to an FA Cup final?
I think he did. Yeah,
that was only a couple of years ago. That was one of the ones when Arsenal went for that them run like 4 in a row.
Yeah, I mean, it's not difficult to win. I'm sorry, it's not difficult to win a cup competition. It really isn't. Alex McLeish has won a League Cup with Birmingham City. It's not that difficult. If Alex McLeish can win a League Cup, anyone can. So even I could. So I don't think winning a cup competition is necessarily a good marker of a good manager. But what I will add, and I will say, is that the way that Steve Bruce has been treated by the media over the last fortnight has been absolutely atrocious and immensely disrespectful. No matter how bad you think he is as a manager, and I know a lot of Newcastle fans don't like him, but he is a Geordie himself.
Yeah.
He's
He's from
from
the local area.
Newcastle. Even
Yeah.
though he did manage Sunderland, it doesn't matter. You don't. I think they. I think that's why they've given him the 1,000th game in charge. You know, because they realise they've been
Proper send off.
immensely disrespectful. So they've
Yeah.
given him a charity match essentially, and then they're going to get rid of him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're going to give him as. And to be honest, with the classiness of Newcastle fans, they won't applaud. They'll probably just be like, "Go away, you wanker." The classiness. Keep it classy,
I hope
Newcastle.
not.
I hope
not.
not.
I hope.
Prove
I
me
hope they
wrong,
do.
Newcastle.
If
There's
it's
your
confirmed,
challenge.
if it's confirmed before match that it's going to be his final one, I hope they have given applause at the end. I hope they
Yeah.
do, because he's not done. He's not got them relegated or anything. He's kept them up. The
On a
two
shoestring
seasons at
budget.
them. Yeah, on a shoestring budget onto the iron fist of a terrible owner. He's done within his reason, and he's done what he's been expected to do.
Yeah, exactly. So
So he should be allowed to leave with a round of applause and his head held high. If you still want to boo him after that, then that just proves what kind of person you are.
yeah,
No class.
I mean, I don't think he's going to get a round of. Don't get me wrong. I don't think he's getting a round of applause at St James's Park.
He shouldn't be booed. He
But
absolutely
he
should
shouldn't
not
be booed. Yeah, I think, he's served the club under a crap owner that refused to put any money in. And to be honest, the fact that they're still in the Premier League is an absolute miracle. When I had them, oh, you know what?
Failed.
I just realised my Premier League predictions are now wrong because I had Newcastle to finish fucking 19th in the Premier League. Shit.
Oh, well, see, that's another thing you're wrong about.
Bollocks. Yeah, but I didn't see... Hang on, I didn't see a Saudi takeover happening.
See, no. You just, once
I
again,
thought that shit was done.
bringing up excuses. Let's just admit to the fact that you shit at predictions.
I got Norwich City finishing bottom of the Premier League right. So did everybody else.
Downstairs could have predicted that.
Wah, wah, wah.
Sorry, Norwich.
Anyway, yeah, sorry, Norwich. We knew thee well. So yeah, I think it's been immensely disrespectful to Steve Bruce. So I hope he gets the send off he deserves against Tottenham. It probably is going to be his last match. I believe the favourite at the moment is Frank Lampard.
I wonder if they've actually got someone planned already.
I think they have. I think they've spent the last 2 weeks talking about that, and I think the last 2 weeks they've spent talking about it. I think it'll probably be Frank Lampard or Steven Gerrard. I think it'll probably be. You know what? My money's on Steven Gerrard. I don't think it should be. I think it should be Eddie Howe. I think he'd be a better option. I sound like an Eddie Howe fan. I'm really not, but
yeah. Probably love Eddie, don't you?
Yeah, apparently I do. Even though I hate him on Monday Night Football when he sells himself short, like an idiot.
He sells himself short. Why?
Because you know when the sacked manager goes on Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
If you compare the time Poch was on there to the time Eddie Howe was on there, the thing is, Poch treated it as an advert for Mauricio Pochettino. Mauricio Pochettino knew what the opportunity was. It was an opportunity for him to advertise himself as a football manager. But Eddie Howe sat there and did the exact opposite and said, well, we didn't do this, we didn't do this, well, we got this wrong, or we got this wrong. Whereas Poch went, well, we did this, we did this, we did this, and we were pretty successful. So Poch sold the positives, whereas Eddie Howe pretty much was Morrissey about it and just was very negative about his own achievements and accomplishments, trying to play him down. He shouldn't be playing them down. It's a fucking typically British thing, and I bloody hate it. But
yeah, no, it's obviously a typical thing. Like, after, what's funny? It kind of reminds me of the Claudio Ranieri's post-match interview today.
Yeah,
and he didn't say that much. He's saying about it needs to be better, and didn't say much. And the Steve McManaman and Joe Cole were saying a British manager would have gone into more detail and been expected to go into more detail about what went wrong and what he's going to do to improve it. Whereas
I don't think that's necessarily true.
The non-English ones are given a bit more of a license to kind of not say as much.
Maybe. I don't think that's necessarily true, though. I mean,
I
obviously,
don't know.
foreign managers.
You were just saying, weren't you? Like it's a typically British thing to downplay yourself, your
Yeah, which
accomplishments.
I
I
hate,
thought
but
Eddie Howe, apart from that last season, I thought Eddie Howe done alright with Bournemouth, and yet he tried to downplay it all like it was a failure. It wasn't.
yeah, I know, but that's what he did anyway. So here we go. So we've got here are the odds for the next Newcastle manager. Frank Lampard is 3-1. As I said, he's the favourite. Lucien Favre. I don't know who that
Lucien
is.
Favre,
Favre,
the
6-1.
former Dortmund boss.
Yeah, I don't think that happening. The next one is 7-1. It's not going to happen. Antonio Conte. He's not fucking going to Newcastle United. He's never fucking heard of him. He's just like,
He has heard them.
I bet he hasn't. He's just like, we wear black and white too, like Juventus.
Yeah.
And I bet they'll try and bullshit him and say we wear black and white and Juventus wear it because of us. No, we actually Juventus wore it because of Notts County. That is actually true, by the way. That is no bullshit. Juventus wear black and white because of Notts
Put
County.
That on a shirt. Please put that
No
on a
bullshit.
shirt.
No
Please.
bullshit. Promise you that. No bullshit.
Danny Harrington 2021, in October 21. Juventus wear black and white because of Notts County. Please put that on a shirt. Please.
It is not. I promise you that is not
Please.
bullshit.
I'm remembering that quote. That's historical.
Well, it technically is because yes, because they're one of England's oldest football clubs.
I know.
And that's why Juventus copied them. It's why Leeds also copied Real Madrid with their white kits, but beforehand they were playing in yellow. So Leeds never used to play in white until Don Revie saw Real Madrid play and thought, you know what Leeds needs? They need
some
Don Revie. You know, I don't know why he's Yorkshire. He's actually from Middlesbrough. Actually, no, he's from Ayresome Park, Sunderland. So he grew up in the same street as Brian Clough. They were actually really big rivals. Anyway, so back to the Newcastle managerial odds. Antonio Conte 7-1, not happening. Steven Gerrard is 10-1. I'm wondering why he's so low. I thought he'd be top of the list with Frank Lampard, and
I don't know, maybe just because of the availability.
Yeah, I suppose Frank Lampard is available on a free, and you know, Steven Gerrard is, I suppose, you know,
You have to convince them to move.
Yeah, and you've then got to agree a compensation fee with
Rangers,
the Rangers. So I suppose, you know, there's a bit of issues there. Brendan Rodgers 12-1. You know what? If I'm Brendan Rodgers, I've said it before, I'm going to Newcastle.
You go.
16 million apparently it'll cost them, and Newcastle are very much willing to pay it. I honestly, if I was Brendan Rodgers, I would go because he would be perfect for that job. Same with Eddie Howe. Those would be my two choices. Eddie Howe would be cheaper in terms of not having to pay compensation, but I mean, money's no object for these guys. I mean, they probably bathe in oil as well. Jesus. Roberto Martinez is 12-1. I mean, that he'll get you to, I suppose, actually, you know what I was saying about Eddie Howe, and he'll get you to like 5th place.
Yeah.
I reckon Roberto Martinez would do that, and then you would have to sack him because he couldn't get you any further.
I reckon Martinez will get you to probably 6th.
Yeah, but that's where you want to be before you sack the manager and bring in a new one.
Okay. Yeah.
I reckon that's kind of where you want to be anyway. That's kind of where you want to be in the Europa League. And be at that, and then get rid of your manager and bring in a better manager. Eddie Howe 16-1. Yeah, that's not bad. Well, those are quite low odds for Eddie Howe. If Eddie Howe doesn't take this job, his next managerial job, in my opinion, will be in the Championship. Because he'll have wasted too much time.
Yeah.
He'll have wasted so much time that he won't get another Premier League job. And he'll be like Alan Kirbishley and condemned to Gillette Soccer
Alan
Saturday.
Kirbishley.
Condemned to appear on Soccer Saturday. Although he won't. He doesn't even appear on that anymore. What happened? This is a national missing persons appeal for Alan Kirbishley. What the fuck happened to him?
Where is he?
Where is he? Well, where are you? Let's be having you. That reminds me of a terrible joke that I'm not going to say. Ralph Rangnick is 18-1, and where's he managing now? But it's
Ralph Rangnick?
yeah.
I don't think he's a manager. I think I'm sure last time I heard about him, he was like managing director of RB Leipzig. I think he used to be a manager. I think.
Where is he managing now? Oh, because he's good mates with Kloppy, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. Oh,
He used to be a manager.
You know what he is? He is the head of sports and development at, wait for it, Lokomotiv Moscow.
Oh, there you go.
I thought that would get a laugh. I gotta be honest. I thought that would get a laugh from yourself. I'm disappointed.
I've been laughing at your jokes though.
Yeah. Well, you know, what street does Delia Smith live at? The Norwich owner. Lesby Avenue.
No.
Lesby Avenue. A shit joke. Graham Jones is 20-1. On a more serious note, I don't see Graham Jones going to.
Who?
Graham Jones.
What the hell's that?
He is the He used to be. I swear he used to be like Wigan Athletic assistant manager, but he is. He's currently the first team coach at Bournemouth. Oh,
I know what you mean.
Oh, he's currently the assistant manager, actually, of Newcastle United. So he's going to replace.
Yeah.
He's going to replace Steve Britton. Yeah, they're not going to do that.
Yeah, I've heard people saying you should give him a chance because apparently he's very good.
Rafa Benitez,
keep him around.
A shock switch from Everton to Newcastle, 25-1. I mean, he's still loved in Newcastle, Rafa, to be fair to him. He's still loved at Newcastle. What else is there? There is Zinedine Zidane. Zidane. I mean, had they not been taken over by the Saudis, I'd have said, Zinedine Zidane, that would be a good club for you to prove me wrong. But now they've been taken over.
Piss off. This is
now
just
that they've been taken over by the Saudis, I'm not so sure.
Hatred of Zidane. You're saying, oh yeah, Zidane's not big enough to take it after Newcastle because when they got took over. You just BS and
when they get Burnley into the top 4, and then we'll have a conversation about how good a manager you are. Until then,
you could say it to any manager.
Actually, you know what? Get Arsenal into the top 4, and then we'll talk about how good a manager you are. If you can get that Arsenal team into the top 4, then I'll admit that you deserve every trophy you've ever won, and it hasn't just been handed to you on a silver plate. Yeah, so Jose Mourinho is 33-1, not going to happen. Paulo Fonseca is 40-1. Graham Potter's an interesting one at 33-1. That'd be an interesting.
I think he's quite happy.
That'd be interesting. Yeah, he's quite happy there. Roberto Mancini is 40-1. No, that's not going to happen.
No.
And Middlesbrough legend Gareth Southgate is at 40-1. Yeah, because that's going to go down well like a pint of sick in Newcastle. Former Middlesbrough captain Gareth Southgate. I don't care if he's taken England to a European Championship final. That would still go down like a cup of sick to most Geordies.